Telecom is a complicated business. You charge for data, you charge for text, you charge for voice minutes. There's hundreds of different calling plans that are available. You can pick which one you want. In some countries, including the United States, there are subsidies that go toward the purchase of mobile phones, which can only be used on the mobile network that you buy them from, unless you unlock them, meaning you hack them. So there's so much complexity in the telecom business that there's a lot of room for telecoms, for mobile telecoms especially, to make money from customers who aren't fast enough for them. They aren't alert. They aren't.
Look,
they don't know.
2,000 possible programs that you could be on.
An uninformed customer is the most profitable customer.
Even
for
a
telecom.
fairly informed customer is still going to have a tough time picking out the very best program for himself and his kids and his whoever. And so expecting customers to do that and then saying if they don't, well, it's the one they picked out as an excuse.
When we give lectures and speaking engagements, a classic question I ask the audience is, okay, raise your hand if you're confident that you're on the correct calling plan for the phone that you have on your person right now. No hands go. Oh, a few hands go up, and I always say, "Oh, we got some telephone company guys here, okay?" Because they're the only ones who really know.
That's right. There's no one else who can. And here's another question. And by the way, some of these things we're talking about are starting to be done outside the United States, but we don't see it yet inside the United States. But when we see one break through, what do you think it's going to be like, and how when the rush away from other companies? But imagine if you had a telecommunications company that reminded you that it's been 2 years since you joined the phone company.
You've worked off your subsidy on your phone.
So
you're entitled to a new phone.
You're entitled to a new phone. Or how about this? You move into a new area and you go in to get a new phone and they ask for your change of address and they say, got to tell you something, you're going to have pretty bad service in that particular area. We're going to build a new cell tower in June, but until then...
Here's a discount. Whatever,
here's a discount,
right?
Or something. Or keep your other phone, we'll let this
one run. What if a mobile phone company said, well, you're a new subscriber, do you have a mobile phone right now? Well, let's see your calls that you've made, and the calls have been made to you. And we look at how many of those calls are from out of our network or to out of our network, for which you'll be charged more. And we say, look, your friends are in this network, but this is a more economic plan for you. And maybe we create a plan that is for your kind of calling. But we don't simply take you because you're willing to be taken.
And if you want to know why a company would want to be trustable like that, aside from just the fact that you're going to become more competitive generally, the whole story is summed up by a young woman who ran up to me to a stage in Mexico City. And she was talking about, she whipped her phone out of her pocket. She said, Dr. Rogers, I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm with Telcel. First she said, my mother made me come to this speech of yours. I didn't really want to come, so there's great. But she says, I got a call from Telcel. I got a text from them, and they said, your mom's paying too much because you should be on this different plan. And so my mom is now saving money because they put me on the right plan. Now, she was so excited about it that she ran up to a speaker. She didn't even want to have to come here.
Yeah.
Right? And of course, she's telling all of her friends, and here's why they do it. They lose a little bit of money every month, but they will have her for the rest of her life. They'll have her kids. They'll have all her friends. They'll have every piece of her business from now on if they don't screw up. And that's why you do it.
One of our clients in Turkey, Vodafone Turkey, launched a program called Customer Bill of Rights. With our blessing, it was basically a collaborative project. It involved some consulting from us and some recommendations. And basically, they're now competing with their competitors launched similar programs in Turkey. In Turkey, which is an extremely competitive mobile market, you see companies now beginning to compete for the trust of their customers. And the Bill of Rights at Vodafone is things like, if you're on the wrong plan, we'll tell you. We'll automatically put you on the right plan. We'll remind you when you have a bill that's due, or when you're almost about to exceed your limits, and so that you don't incur a penalty and so forth.
So we'll tell you when you're roaming, when you might not be aware that you're roaming, and things like that. So a trustable telephone company is one that you forge a partnership with for the rest of your life, instead of one where you just kind of grit your teeth and hope for the best, and then stay in it
Yeah.
until you can get out of it.
But for the most part, U.S. carriers are
Behind.
awful. They're
behind.
way behind European and even
They'll be
many
wonderful.
Middle East
They'll be
carriers.
wonderful when they come around.
Maybe. We'll see.